$20. Ms. Gibbons claims Mr. Irving left his firearm within reach of her son, who took it and tried to commit a crime. Mr. Irving claims it was the plaintiff's fault that her son had access to the gun.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Cristina Perez presiding. Please be seated. All parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, Bernard. Ms. Gibbons, Mr. Irving, and Mr. Gibbons. How old are you, Mr. Gibbons?
9 years old.
You're 9 years old. You're a very handsome young man.
Thank you.
Do you know why we're here today, Mr. Gibbons?
Yes, my mother's suing her boyfriend for giving me a gun, and I had to get in trouble for it because I was trying to get a gift to my mom.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, is it okay that we discuss the case in front of Mr. Gibbons, or should we have him step out?
It's fine.
It's fine?
Yes.
She says it's fine. Okay. If at any point I see that we shouldn't discuss something, I will ask you to step out. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, Ms. Gibbons, you dated the defendant, Mr. Irving. You are suing him for $1,320.
Correct.
Explain what happened, please.
So I am suing Bobby today for negligence. He left his firearm within reach of my 9-year-old son. My son is now entered in a juvenile diversion program, and I really feel as though Bobby should front the cost. You know, we met because he came into my nail salon. He immediately got my attention. I found him very attractive. He was charismatic, nice to all the other employees. You know, so I definitely took notice of that. Although he did come in with another woman, they didn't really seem to be getting along that well. So I took it upon myself to, you know, slip Bobby my number while she wasn't looking.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't usually do that, but the attraction was really strong, and like I said, they didn't really seem to be connecting.
All right. I want you to stop right there. Can you take him out for a second, please? Come on. Okay, so go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so they didn't really seem to be connecting, so I took it upon myself to give Bobby my phone number. You know, a couple weeks went by, he didn't call me, so I figured, you know, maybe he wasn't interested. And then a couple days after that, he actually did call me. He explained to me that, you know, they weren't really getting along and that they had broken up and that he was interested in taking me out on a date. So that next day, we went to dinner and a movie. He seemed to be the perfect guy. You know, I don't really have...
What about Mr. Gibbons? What about Luke's dad?
Luke's dad, he bailed on us. We were both very young when Luke was born.
No contact?
No contact at all. He left, he didn't give any information, he just bailed out on us.
All right.
So, you know, I'm on this first date with Bobby, and, you know, he seems like a total gentleman. You know, Luke's dad, sort of a hoodlum. Some other guys in the neighborhood, you know, they're not really gentlemen. So it was very refreshing for me to be with someone who I thought was a good quality man. So, you know, I'm very selective.
What did you think about Miss Gibbons, Mr. Irving?
I thought she was a nice young lady when I met her. She slipped me her number when I went to the nail salon, you know, so she was hot.
And did you know she had a child?
At first I didn't know she had a child, but after a while, like a couple months when we was dating, she brought him up, which I didn't have a problem with because, you know, I have nephews, stuff like that, so it was cool.
So you were fine with that?
Yeah.
Okay, and did you understand naturally that it's important for her to have a good male role model in her house?
Right. Yes, ma'am, I did. And at the age he's at, 9 years old, I thought it was essential to kind of, you know, just trying to connect with him and just see where it goes. So I did.
So then you allowed, you felt strong enough about Mr. Irving that you allowed him, and you introduced him to Luke?
Yeah, you know, it took almost 2 months because I'm very selective with who Lucas can meet. I have to set a good example for him. So, you know, after about almost 2 months, I did introduce him to Bobby. And that's when I really started to fall for him because they hit it off so well. You know, he really stepped up to the plate. You know, he started doing homework with him, taking him out to the park. You know, I work closing shifts sometimes, so, you know, I let go of my other babysitter, and Bobby started watching him.
You like Luke?
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I really took on to him. He's cool. He's cool. So, I mean, we just started hanging out at the park, playing basketball, stuff like that. I really took on to him, so we kind of created a bond. It was cool.
Okay. That's good. And did you think it was dangerous, Ms. Gibbons, that you were allowing your son to create such a strong bond with a young man that you may not have a relationship with?
I mean,
Because you obviously don't anymore. So
Yeah.
is that, you know, I'm not passing judgment, but did you think that maybe that might not be a good idea?
Coming up on Justice.
I mean, looking back, I can't say that I would have done it, knowing what I know now, but in
Okay.
that moment.
So what happened? Why are we here today?
So a couple more months go by. It's been maybe like four months at this point. And he comes to my house one day. He's huffing and puffing, you know, and being the girlfriend that I am, I'm telling him, you know, calm down, babe. So as I'm kind of coaxing him to bed, you know, as he's coming down to lay with me, a gun falls out of his pants. And in that moment, I kind of, you know, jump back because I'm like, what's going on here? Like, there's a gun in my house, let alone from a man that I'm starting to fall in love with. He assures me that it's for protection only.
What kind of protection do you need, Mr. Irving?
Well, I mean, just protection in general. You know, I deal with a lot of cash hand to hand and dealing with customers face to face, being a barber at the local shop. And I leave late at night and I make the deposits at the bank because I'm the manager at the shop.
Are you licensed to have the gun
Sure.
and to carry
Would you like
it?
to see it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Do you carry it with you everywhere you go?
Yeah, I do carry it with me everywhere I go because, I mean, I do have the concealed and I have the license for it, so I normally keep it on me.
Okay. All right. Knowing that there's a 9-year-old little boy, did you ever tell your girlfriend that you have or you carry a weapon? A
No, I
concealed
never
weapon?
just came out and told her up front because we just never came up. So I didn't think it was a big deal. Me, I don't think it's a big deal because I have a license.
But, I mean, it's not a big deal when she has a 9-year-old child. What if that child would have found it?
Right, which is why I never blankly brought it around him or had it out in front of her or anything like that.
Oh, I see. So it was never with you when you were there. It just happened to be that this day you had it with you.
Right.
And previous to that, you just didn't bring it in.
No, I didn't necessarily have a need
All right.
to.
So then you told him you don't want him to bring a gun
Yeah,
into the house.
I made it very clear to him, I don't want to see the gun again. You know, regardless of whatever reason why you're carrying it, that's up to you.
And did you ask for his firearm license, the permit, everything?
I did not ask to see the license. I just knew that I just didn't want to see it again. And
You didn't want to see if he was authorized to legally to carry it?
I mean, I just assumed
I
that,
would have.
Yeah, I mean, I just assumed that he was.
Okay.
But
All right. So then what happened next?
Yeah, so after telling him how I feel about it, he assured me that I would never see the gun again. And at that point, I thought, okay, well, that's the end of that. A couple weeks later, I'm doing my laundry. I'm reaching up to my normal spot to grab my jeans to go in the laundry, and I feel something that's hard and metal. I kind of look up, and it's a gun. And at that point, my blood is boiling. I'm furious. I'm shaking.
It's the same gun?
Yes, it's the same gun. You know, I'm furious. I drop my laundry. And I call him immediately, and, you know, I just let him have it, Your Honor. I said...
Did you call the police to come and pick up the gun?
No, I took the gun and I put it in my purse, and then I put it away because my plan was to take it to the police the next morning.
You were going to wait till the next morning with your son in the house?
He wasn't there at that time.
But you were still going to leave it in your purse? I mean, not let him even come and pick it up or call
No,
the police?
I told him specifically, like,
And you, at this point, had no idea if he was legally authorized to carry the gun?
No, I mean,
And you
I
didn't bother
assumed,
asking?
I assumed he was, but I did not request to see any papers.
Why did you leave the gun in her house again after she told you not to?
Well, I didn't necessarily just leave it in there. At first, I was watching babysitting Lucas. I mean,
Oh, you didn't necessarily leave it in there because it was there, so you left it there. So
Not
after she knew she was so upset, why would you leave it there? I mean, listen, you guys are adults, you can do whatever the heck you want.
Right.
But there's a 9-year-old little boy. What if he would have found it?
Yeah, which is what I was thinking. So, I mean, we were at the house.
You were thinking and you still left it there? Is that how you think to protect a 9-year-old little boy that you've gotten to care for?
Well, I mean, what happened was I put it in the closet where he couldn't get it. I brought it in the house.
Was it
because
loaded?
It was loaded. Yeah, it's always loaded.
Okay, so what happened, Ms. Gibbons? I mean, I know what happened, but please explain
Yeah, so I put it in my purse and put it away.
the next morning. So it wasn't important of you enough for you to call the police, to take it to him, to come and pick it up. You just left it in your purse.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want him to come pick it back up because he
Okay,
was not
so what
invited.
happened? Your son
Yeah.
came home.
So pretty much what happened the next morning is, well, prior to that, I had gone out the night before. My friend thought it was a good idea that maybe I could release some stress because my blood was literally boiling.
And where was the gun?
The gun was still in my purse. It was at home.
And where was your son?
He was with the babysitter.
At home?
Yes. So, you know, the next morning, I'm definitely a little bit tired from the night before. I will admit that. And, my son comes up to me. He's 9. He's energetic. He's happy. He's like, Mommy, I want to go play outside. I want to go to the market. I do allow him to play outside in the, front area, and the market, which is about 2 blocks away, that's as far as he can go. So when he approached me that morning saying, I want to go out, I said, sure. He says he wants to go out. I go back to sleep. And then, maybe an hour afterwards,
You go back to sleep.
Yeah.
With your 9-year-old running around and a gun in your purse.
I get a phone call about an hour later, and it is the police. I was blown away because they informed me that my 9-year-old son had been detained for carrying a weapon. I ran as fast as I could. I got all my clothes on. I walked and ran down to the store. By that point, I was crying. Like, I apologized to the owner who was there. I apologized to the police. And I said to my son, what happened? I mean, where did I go wrong? Like, what could I have done to prevent this? Like, what?
Should I give you a list?
Coming up on...
I mean, I definitely made some mistakes.
Listen, I'm being hard on you, and on both of you, but you particularly. Because you seem so bright and put together and such an intelligent person, and you have completely spiraled to worse than stupidity. I mean, you did not act reasonably. It's beyond being reasonable. You were so careless. You were so reckless. You were so selfish. Do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to give you some statistics? A child or a teen dies or is injured from guns every 30 minutes.
I mean, Your Honor, like, trust me.
Guns kill more children under 5 than law enforcement officers in the line of duty. I mean, and this is just common sense. This doesn't mean anything if you're still not responsible. You don't take a gun to a house where there's a 9-year-old little impressionable boy. I mean, the only thing I can say is that at least you put it in a safe place up high so he wouldn't see it.
Right.
And you took it and you put it in a place where it was reachable for your son to get. You put it in your purse instead of taking it directly to the police. Not only did you put it in your purse, you go out and you party because you have to release stress. And then your son the next day goes through your purse, picks up the gun, and goes to a store and what? Tries to hold up the store. But how can that happen?
I mean, Your Honor, trust me, if anyone doesn't want their kid to be around a gun, it's me. And I know, I will admit to my mistakes, but I don't want there to be any doubt that, I've really tried my best.
So how can you blame the defendant for being responsible for something that you had more control over?
Coming up.
You had a chance to give. Do you want your son to be a statistic?
No.
If that's what you want, that's exactly what you did, because you put yourself first before your son. And for you to turn around and say he's responsible for your son's actions, how am I supposed to swallow that?
I mean,
the negligent individual here, the reckless person, because you had a chance to give the gun away. You found it. Renard, she found it. What was she supposed to do with it?
Contacted authorities.
Immediately. How embarrassing is that?
I mean,
you're his mother. You are responsible for him. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I mean,
completely ashamed of yourself.
I mean, I definitely am. And like I said, I'll admit to my mistakes, but I truly thought that if I took the gun and put it in my purse, because he's really never gone through my purse before.
In no universe is that a logical conclusion. Listen, I'm being hard on you because you're the person that can control your son's safety. I have a lot to say to him, but at this moment it's not appropriate because the person that I'm going to reach out to, that I hope I can reach to, is you. I don't think we go far enough to protect ourselves because too many of these statistics happen every day. And you know who is getting the brunt of it? Do you want to know who's getting the brunt of it?
Who's that?
It's African American, it's Latinos. We are the ones who are the statistic. We're the statistic. And if you don't stop it, if he doesn't stop it, if I don't stop it, nobody else will. And you know what? We're just going to be statistics. Right. That's it. And Luke, when he grows up, he's going to be a statistic. Yeah. If that's what you want to happen in your life, knock yourself out.
Judge Perez's
So the only claim I have in front of me is the plaintiff suing the defendant for negligence. I will deny that claim. Mr. Irving is not responsible for something that you had control of, and you should have immediately, the moment you discovered this man had a gun, done something about it immediately. You had the power to make the decision, the power to control the destiny. Because guess what? Your son is now a statistic. As a mother, there are just no words to tell you how disappointed I am in another mother. And so based on the evidence, I will deny your claim of $1,320. Please sit down with your son and read to him the statistics. He's 9 years old. He needs to understand what he did and that it was so wrong. Because if he thinks he could do it now, it was so easily accessible to him, he may do it in 5 years. If you don't sit down and give him the hardcore reality that he could one day be the victim of violence, of gun violence, that you hope he is not somebody that looks to guns, that he should not even carry one, that you have to explain to him. And it's going to be your choice to figure out what his life is going to entail. Okay?
All rise.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.